Yes, please. Yep. Oops. Good evening, councillors, staff members, members of the public, both joining us here in person and online. Thank you very much for doing so. I'd like to declare this meeting open and doing so acknowledge the traditional owners of the land, the Noongar Wadani people, and their continuing connection to land, waters and community. We pay our respects to all members of the Aboriginal community and to their cultures and to elders past, present and emerging. Councillors, we have had a request from Councillor Steck to join electronically, and I have approved that as it meets the policy guidelines. Thank you, Councillor Steck. Can you hear us again?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Councillor Steck. Thank you. Councillors, we are here for a special council meeting to adopt the budget and the accompanying documents with that. This special council meeting follows the same standards of our OCM and understanding orders. I would like to acknowledge one of our freemen of the cities, Mr John Casrilli. Welcome, John, and former Councillor McCleary. Welcome, Betty. Thank you. Thanks for joining us. Are there any declarations of interest, councillors? Thank you. We have received some public questions from Mr Renninger. Thank you, Brian. Come and join us and ask those questions.
Is this on? Oh, of course it is.
On. Thank you.
Okay. I'll try not to shout. Well, this is my annual event. I always show up when you're talking about rates, and I usually ask questions, so nothing has changed in that regard. But thank you, Mayor Jason and CEO Alan and councillors for the opportunity to speak for a few minutes. As background, I was at the council briefing session where the differential rates were discussed. So my first question is related to that. Why is the city adopting a new differential rates method that taxes both residents and businesses differently? And why wasn't this matter discussed with the ratepayers?
I'll allow you to keep answering your questions, Brian.
Oh, should I go on to the other questions?
Yeah, go on to the other questions. And we'll
Okay, all right. So just as an aside, my own rates have increased 28% over the last 4 years, so that's 7% per year on average. Number two, when will the city schedule a few community meetings during this financial year to invite Bunbury's residents and the local businesses to ask questions and to discuss their concerns? As background to that question, the former CEO used to have community meetings in East Bunbury and South Bunbury, etc. So that's what I'm asking about. Number three, has the city done any cost cutting during this year's budget to reduce the total rates assessed for the ratepayers, especially the general rates and the refuse recycling services, namely to reduce the city's operational costs and to postpone larger projects that are being planned now until the current project loans are paid off? So that's a long question. I'll allow you to address those now.
Yeah, sure. I know the CEO's got some former responses, Brian, but I might answer a couple of them with my answers and then pass over to the CEO to formally respond. In terms of question one, we obviously discussed the differential rate, and that rationale was in that previous council meeting. It was advertised and went out for advertising recently. We had one response with that. So that was the discussion with ratepayers. In terms of scheduling community meetings, it wasn't former CEO who ran those meetings. I ran those meetings, and the last one was in January. We haven't run any this year due to a number of elections that are in place. More than happy whether or not the future council want to schedule community meetings. We also have the budget breakfast on Thursday, which is open to the community, and that's obviously an opportunity to discuss this as well as our normal sessions that we do run, which are all questions that we can have from the community to elected members directly. And the cost-cutting steps to reduce rates, the city has been, and the previous council had an optimisation report. There has been requests for the CEO to look at some of those services that we are running, and some of those reports have come back, either agreed upon or disagreed upon from council. One of it obviously is looking at other ways around revenue, and as you're aware in the last meeting, we have a motion to address an area that we are losing significant amount of revenue in one particular way, which was the motion on notice raised by Councillor Steele. So there is work happening in that space, but I might pass to the CEO to provide his formal answers as well. Thank you, CEO.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor. There is some formal answers here, but I'll probably answer that in a couple of different ways. The questions 1 and 2, I don't think require any more than response than you've already provided, Mayor. In terms of the question number 3, there is a report in actually this council 10. There's an item 10.3.3 that talks about financial stability and some of the things that we have looked at. The report identifies 34 optimisation measures, which include revenue growth, expenditure reductions, efficiency improvements and affordability assessments. So that is in the agenda and that is obviously available to the public. I would say just to talk generally about the structural issues of Bunbury. You heard Councillor Steele's motion tonight around rate exemptions. We've got $1.7 million worth of revenue that is rate exempt, and when you consider, Bunbury's challenge as a regional city and the regional infrastructure that we've got, be that an entertainment centre, be that a major sporting complex and a recreation centre, art galleries, museums, which are enjoyed by a lot of residents that aren't necessarily Bunbury residents, but the city of Bunbury pays for them. When you consider that, and we do lots of modelling around the average rates in Bunbury versus the other local governments, when you consider that structural issue, Bunbury compares very well. So there's an argument there around the efficiency of Bunbury from having to deal with those structural issues as well as keep rates at a competitive level. I'd love to keep rates at 0 or but we saw the impact of that, and costs aren't getting any cheaper. And when I look at Bunbury's got $900 million worth of assets and, a little over 20 odd million in reserves, which is pretty skinny when you consider a city of our size and an asset base like that. So there's work that we're doing, as the Mayor said, in terms of revenue growth, and I think that's something that we've concentrated hard on, and you'll see the results of that over the next few years, which I would expect there to be additional revenue comes in at a marginal cost of a lot less than that revenue. So that fiscal side will start to change as we implement some of the larger developments that we're doing, whether that's Glen Iris, whether that's Chort Brook, the new hotels that we're looking at, the work that you got discussed tonight in terms of the scheme amendment along Back Beach and what that will deliver. Punchbowl side is back out into the market. So there's lots of opportunity here, but it does take time to address that.
Okay, with due respect, I have to make a comment. I'm asking about cost cutting. He didn't answer the question, and neither did you, about cost
Mr.
cutting.
Redinger, have a seat. There's no further opportunities for this. You've asked your questions. If you want to have more conversations or questions, you can come to the budget.
I think I've made my point.
Okay, no problems. Recordings? Yeah, you can't record in here. The meetings are live streamed, so you can visit them there, but there's no recordings from the gallery. Thank you. Okay, councillors, the purpose of the meeting is there as follows. The purpose of the meeting is to adopt the City of Bunbury 2025-26 annual budget, including to consider the submissions received following the advertising for city proposed differential general rates and minimum rates for the 2025-26 financial year, to adopt the rate and the dollar and minimal rate for differential and specified area rates that council will levy on property gross rental valuations, to adopt the proposed waste charges, to adopt the proposed fees and charges for other general city services, and to adopt the city's 2025-26 budget. There's a number of items here, councillors, to work through. Some do require an absolute majority and some a simple majority. So 7.1 is the recommendation is to note the submission received during the advertising period. Somebody happy to move that? Thank you, Councillor Crossley. There's a second. What's that, sorry?
person that actually put in an objection,
Yes.
why is there no name or anything attached? Like, am I going far?
CEO?
I'm not aware, Mayor, who the person was, but I might just refer to see if David Ransom knows who I might just refer to David Ransom, the Manager of Finance, to see if he's aware of who that respondent was.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I was aware. The name escapes me at the moment, but I didn't include it because I thought it was just a confidential. Didn't want to disclose his name, but I can get that for you. Sorry.
Their comments are obviously in the agenda there as well. That was moved by Councillor Andrew. It was moved by Councillor Kozek, second by Councillor Andrew. Is there likely to be any debate on noting this, councillors? If that's the case, I'll put that. Those in favour, please indicate. That's carried. Thank you. (7.2). This is the recommendation 1 through to, or 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. Is somebody happy to move that recommendation? Thank you, Councillor Ramesh. Is there a seconder? Oh, Councillor Kozak, thank you. Is there likely to be any debate on this, councillors? There will be. Councillor Ramesh? Nothing from yourself. Councillor Kozak? Speaker against this recommendation? Councillor Gassett was there first. Sorry, Councillor Steck.
Thank you.
Councillor Gassett will speak. Sorry, Councillor Steck.
Mr. Mayor, 6.5% rate rise is pretty high compared to the 2.4 or 2.8% reference rates, CPI Perth and nationally. So it's quite a lot of difference. So I'm not comfortable to support that. Just a couple of other points, briefly. I don't also support the differential in this case where we're asking business to bear more than their fair share. So a higher rate, so 8 cents on the dollar for residential versus up to nearly 11 cents on the dollar for businesses. Just another couple of points about 6.5%. And we talk about differential. Because Carey Park and Withers had the highest increase in GRV, the residents or the renters of the Carey Park and Withers properties are going to be paying a higher amount proportionally to what they paid last time, higher increase. The other point, just some feedback from the community, Mr. Mayor, is one business owner has asked me to say this at the meeting without identifying them, that this is a request for, not that one, just a quick mail to let it be known that of our objection to a rate rise beyond inflation, which I accept that comment, and that he's politely asking that we look for economies and efficiencies like businesses have to. The other point, just in terms of I've visited some retirement villages lately, and the feedback from the renters in those villages, partly because of inflation, but partly because of rates. Because rates are immediately passed on to tenants, whether it's residential or commercial. So these people are generally saying, look, we don't have much left over after we get our pension, pay the rent, pay all the costs. We're living on about $150 a fortnight after expenses. So they're just those points.
Thank you. Is there a speaker for this item?
I have a query, but
Castile?
aren't people in old people's homes, aren't they rate exempt?
Some of them would be.
Yeah.
Some are not-for-profits. There would be some privatised ones, but yeah, a bit of a mixture. Councillor Steele. Is there a speaker for this item? Councillor Ramesh? I'll put the item. Those in favour, please indicate. Those against? That is lost. Sorry, that is carried, I should say. Item 7.1.3 is the waste charges with the following recommendation. Somebody happy to move that particular item? Councillor Quain? Councillor Brown? Likely to be debated against this item, councillors? If that's the case, I'll put that. Those in favour, please indicate. Those against, that is carried. (7.14) is on the proposed borrowings. Somebody happy to move that item? Councillor Quain and a seconder. Councillor Andrew. Likely to be any debate on this item? Question? Sure.
Just a question, Mr Mayor, can we get an idea of how our borrowings are going? Serviceability and the total borrowings?
It was adopted in the long-term financial plan of the next one, but CEO, do you have any comments on that?
So thank you, Mayor. We provide reports on that
agenda.
each month, so that would be in the financial reports that are provided to council.
Mr Mayor, can I have another question?
Yes, Councillor. Yeah.
Can I just, how can I put it as a question? Can I ask that this information, when I ask a question here, be considered for the community as well, when we're asking the questions? Not, because I've seen the reports.
Sorry, you might have to re-ask that, Councillor Gass. I'm not sure what you meant there. Could you...
Okay. So when I ask a question, I'm asking also on behalf of the community.
Sure.
So can I, when I ask another question like this, can we have the answer taken into account? The community is watching, want to know what's going on.
Sure. I think the CEO has addressed that those reports are publicly available every month, and they're in there, as well as the previous item where we adopted the long-term financial plan in the previous agenda. So those items are all publicly available, and you can provide that information too. Is there a speaker against this item? I'll put that. Those in favour, please indicate. Those against, one against, that is carried. (7.15) is the budgets for the following funds. Somebody happy to move that? Councillor Smith and a seconder, Councillor Andrew. Is there likely to be any debate on this item? I'll put that. Those in favour, please indicate. That is carried unanimously. Thank you. The due dates, the recommendations are there as follows. Is somebody happy to move that? Councillor Quain, is there a seconder to that? Councillor Kozisek? Likely to be any debate on this, councillors? I'll put that. Those in favour, please indicate. And that is carried unanimously. Thank you. 7.1 is the administration and interest fees on rates and waste charges, general debtor collection charges. Is there a mover to this? Councillor Kozisek, a seconder. Councillor Ramesh? Likely to be any debate on this? Councillor Steele, a question?
No, every year I vote against this, and I'm going to stand
So is
again
that
to vote against
One
this.
sec. We'll get there. So, Councillor Kozisek moved. Councillor Kozisek, you're first to speak. Councillor Ramesh is seconder. Councillor Steele, now you can join us.
Sorry, yeah, I remain consistent, I think, on the whole time I've been on council that by having this, I know it's an administration fee of $9 and $9 only, but some people already that are having struggles with paying, unfortunately, our rates, which we have to have and do, it just sticks with me that we're also charging them an extra fee for
Thank you.
that.
Speaker for the Councillor
Sorry,
Turner.
can I ask a question, please?
Sure.
We're trying to get people to go online to pay their rates from now on. Is there likely to be maybe not an extra charge for people who are paying their rates online as opposed to people who need to be sent out another reminder? Is that a possibility at all? Or will those costs still be
Yeah, so you're
Needed.
saying will the instalment plan still be there even if they're getting rates electronically rather than in paper is your question, Councillor Turner? I assume it would be, but CEO, is that still the...
Yeah, I might defer that to the Manager of Finance to answer that.
Through you, Mr Mayor. Thank you for that question. We are encouraging ratepayers to pay electronically. It certainly is a cost saving. We've probably got about 2,000 residents who are using that, and we are promoting that as we issue the rate notices. At this stage, there is still an administrative cost, whichever option they are, so it would apply to both those receiving it electronically and also a postal rate notice.
Thank you for that. Appreciate it.
Speaker for this item. Councillor Kozisek, anything to close? I'll put that item. Those in favour, please indicate. Those against? 1, 2, 3, 4 against. That is carried. Waivers and concessions, councillors, written in front of us. Is somebody happy to move this item? Councillor Brown, thank you, and a seconder. Councillor Ramesh. Likely to be any debate on this? I'll put this item. Those in favour, please indicate. That is carried. Thank you. Excuse me. Those against? 1 against. I apologise, Councillor Steele. Elected member sitting fees, councillors. Those, is somebody happy to move this item? Councillor Quain, is there a seconder? Councillor Kozisek. Likely to be any debate against this item, councillors? I'll put that. Those in favour, please indicate. Those against? 1 against, that's carried. 10-1-10. Schedule of the fees and charges. If somebody move this particular item. Thank you, Councillor Quain. A seconder. Councillor Kozisek. Likely to be any debate on the fees and charges? I'll put that. Those in favour, please indicate. That's carried.
No, sir, I'm against.
Apologies again, Councillor Steck. There is 1 against. Please record that. Minute taker, 1 against item 10. 10 in favour, 1 against. And item 7.1.11 is the variance reporting. Is somebody happy to move this particular item? Thank you, Councillor Kozisek. And a seconder, Councillor Smith. Is there likely to be any debate on this item, councillors? If that's the case, I'll put that item. Those in favour? Those against? None against. That is carried unanimously. Thank you. That brings us to a close of this special council meeting at 7:23. Thank you for all attending.